Hello, let's just get on with this, shall we? I've been fanning around for about half an hour, but I do have a really exciting episode to do. I feel like I start every episode like that. But so let me share a little bit of context. Driving home this morning, I felt like it's really hard to explain. I can feel that there's something big to come through, and um yeah, very, very hard to explain. I could just feel that there was something there to come through. And I jumped on stories to say this and just share a little bit about how I lead with intuition. And normally I get intuitive downloads just like pouring all the time through. And if you want to be able to do this for yourself, you've got to work on the relationship that you have with yourself, because you can get yourself in a really good place, i.e., high vibrational, feeling good. That's when your channel will open and you'll get the inspiration. So essentially it's all of the messages that I share normally, in the sense that you have to put yourself first. You have to have that commitment to yourself, to put yourself first, to put feeling good at the top of your priority list. Because when that happens, and also you start to trust and follow the intuition, that is key. Because every time you get intuition, if you're not following it, you're just sending a message to yourself that you just don't trust yourself. And so it's not going to come through as clearly and loudly as if you start to follow it all the time. Then you send that message to yourself that you just trust your intuition. So you can go from meditating and getting intuition to actually just getting intuition pouring to you all the time. This episode wasn't supposed to be about intuition, but yeah, essentially, like, I get it. It flows to me like all day long, all the time. And today was a little bit different because I could just feel something there ready to come through, but I couldn't access it with just like playing loud music and feeling good, whatever. So I jumped on stories, said this to my Instagram audience and said, right, I'm going to meditate, and it will come through then. And then I just fannied around on my phone for a little bit, because it takes a while to upload a story, doesn't it? Adding captions. And then I think while I was doing that, I got on memories, like Instagram will share with you your memories of, like, on this day in a year ago, or this day 2 years ago. Well, I had one come up, and it was the post that launched my business. My business, when I first started, it was called the Believe and Achieve Academy. And it was on this day 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, thank you, universe. There is my content. So I didn't end up meditating. I didn't need to. So yeah, this is it. This is what I'm going to share with you. So I'm just so incredibly blessed and happy and over the moon with my life, and what my life looks and feels like now on a daily basis. Is just, I've created it that way through the lessons that I'm going to share with you. And also I do recognize, though, that I'm extremely blessed with the work that I do, because it means that I know how to do the inner work on myself. But as I'll share with you, it's not just the inner work that I've done on myself, it's also I've invested in my own healing too. What I'm going to share with you today is what has it taken to get me to where I am? What has it taken to get the business to where it is in 2 years? Like, literally going from qualifying as a hypnotherapist. Actually, I think I launched the business before I qualified. It was right at the end. There's maybe a month or so in it. Oh no, actually, that's not true, because I qualified in June. And we're only in March. So yeah, quite a few months before I actually qualified. Like, I launched the business because I was charging half price. And yeah, like, had an identity to my business. We'd done our marketing module, and I was like, well, let's get this going. There's so much more to being a hypnotherapist than just the skill set of the work that you do in your sessions. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you know this. It's like the marketing and your messaging and all of that is so important. So I was doing that work, and I decided to launch, obviously, before I qualified, because the sooner you get started, the better, right? So yeah, it's not even been 2 years since I qualified. But anyways, in that time, just the most incredible things have happened, and I've changed as a person, changed my business multiple times. There's things that I've tried that I've just moved on from, and And yeah, it's just been the most incredible journey. And I guess some highlights have been winning Hypnotherapist of the Year for South England twice, speaking, being invited to be a guest speaker at a national mental health seminar up in Birmingham. That was amazing too. And being on a private yacht in Lisbon with a bunch of incredible female business owners too, which is the business coaching program that I am part of. Just some incredible highlights. And so let's get going. I know that I only have 30 minutes for these unedited episodes before it cuts off, so let's get started. What has it taken? And I've just written some notes and I'm going to share it with you. So number one is investing. So investing in myself has got me to where I am today. There is no way that I would be anywhere near close to having the business that I have today if I didn't invest in myself. You can do it alone, but just know that it takes a lot longer and you'll end up going in circles. You'll end up blocking yourself. You just won't have the support in the way that you do when you invest in yourself. So I invested in business coaching from the get-go. Just invested a huge amount of money. Like I was right at the start of my business, I invested my savings. And this is coming from, like, I didn't know anything about coaching and like the coaching industry and how much it costs to invest in yourself. Like I was brand new to that, but I got it. Like I got the value. I saw the value. And so I was in, and it's just collapsed my timeline incredibly. And that's the work that I do now. I help people collapse their timelines and create the business that they want, rather than feeling like a prisoner in their business, like sacrificing themselves. It's about investing. Like there's no two ways about it. If you want to get further ahead, invest in yourself. And also just to say that if you've invested in yourself in the past and you realize with hindsight that it wasn't a good investment, and maybe you've been burned by having invested in a coach that ultimately wasn't as good as you thought they would be, or your experience of it's very perception based, and unless we show up as an empowered client, that can also affect your experience of a coaching thing as well. But I do get it. There are a lot of coaches out there who are just cookie cutter coaches and aren't really as good as they make themselves out to be. And so I understand that, if you've been burnt before in investing in yourself, whether it's been in coaching or some other kind of investment, just don't let that stop you from ever investing in yourself again. I'll talk about this a little bit more as we get further on, but if like forgive yourself for the decisions and like, quote unquote mistakes that you've made. There's lessons everywhere. So if that's happened to you, just forgive yourself. Do not let it hold you back from making the decisions that you would have made if that hadn't have happened. Like it's just going to hold you back and block you even more. So to sum up then, I would say to get you where you want to be faster, make the moves based with the next level you energy. Like step into, just close your eyes and visualize what it would feel like if you were already experiencing the life that you desire. And then the thing that's on your mind that you're wondering whether to do or not, or wanting clarity on, once you've stepped into the energy of next level you, feel what you would do, feel into it. How does it feel? Because you want to be making your decisions from an abundant, empowered place rather than lack and disempowerment and fear. Like the energy underneath our actions is so key. Like I literally feel like you could play Jenna Bingo when you listen to me on my podcast, because I do end up saying the same things over and over again. But it's so key. The energy underneath your actions matters. It's not the actions, it's the energy underneath. And so when you are deciding to invest, it's really key to note and to trust your body and to trust what your body's telling you. Your body will never lie. And so how to work out the energy of a decision is you can close your eyes and you can imagine if you've got two options, like whether to invest in somebody or not. Maybe not even that, let's just generalize it. Like if you've got two options, whether maybe you're thinking about pivoting, for example, or whatever it is, just close your eyes and imagine that you have your two options and they're like a fork in the road. And imagine going down one path, and that path represents the like option one. And you imagine you go down that path, and in your mind's eye, you just take yourself there. Imagine that version of reality. See the sights, hear the sounds, really immerse yourself in that experience. And then check in with your body. Notice how that feels. Does that feel good? Does that feel exciting? Does that feel expansive? Or not? And then remove yourself and then go down the other fork in the road, which represents the other option, and do the same thing again. You just experience it as clearly as you can, visualize it as clearly as you can. And your brain can't tell the difference between real or imagination. So it will create that experience in that mind-body connection. It will create that experience. So it will generate the emotions that you would feel if that was your reality. And so that's how you get yourself to read that energy. How does that feel? Does that feel more expansive, more exciting? And then you can work out whether you're about to make a decision from a place of fear or abundance. And it's okay it's okay to feel like butterflies in your stomach with an investment. Like that's good. Like when you're making bold moves, it can feel nerve-wracking. I've experienced this so many times, and it is why I'm where I'm at today, because I've just made the moves, and it's okay. Like it's okay to feel that like butterflies in your stomach feeling. Like that's okay. But you can interpret it as exciting. If you can work out that the energy is an expansive energy, you can just interpret that as, oh, this is exciting. Oh, this is nerve-wracking, but it's okay. All right. Next, step 2. We're already at 12 minutes. So I need to keep cracking on. Number 2, how to get you to, or how I've got to where I am today in less than 2 years, is this incredible relationship that I have with myself. And it's not always been what it is today. It has come from doing the healing work and a commitment to personal development. And those two things go hand in hand. You cannot be the best, most evolved version with the strongest, most resilient mindset to drive your business forward and create the version of your dreams if you're not doing the work on yourself. If you have a shitty relationship with yourself and you're berating yourself and have like negative self-talk going on, how the hell are you going to create the life of your dreams? Because you're not a friend. Inside your own mind, you are not a friend, and you have to do that. You need to be able to put yourself first. You need to be able to walk your talk, and you need to be congruent with the things, with your messaging. So if you are, for example, if you're a business coach and in your messaging you're saying take time for yourself, and you're at your desk like far longer than you would like to be, and you're not eating right because you're not prioritizing yourself, or you're not just if you're basically not doing the things that you are telling your audience and your clients to do, that is so out of alignment, isn't it? And that will not feel good to you. Like deep down, you'll know that doesn't feel good, and that is creating resistance, and resistance slows you down. If there's resistance going on in any way, shape or form, it means that you're out of alignment and you're not going to get the things that you want in the most easeful way if you are creating resistance and out of alignment. So you've got to walk your talk. And in order to be able to walk your talk, you need to have that good relationship with yourself. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I've got a lot of work to do, that's okay. Just accept that and get on with it. Baby steps. And you can get to a place where you have an incredible relationship with yourself. You absolutely can, if you have the right mindset about it. Next one, get outside of your comfort zone. I love this one because this is what I've done right from the start. I remember like making a commitment to show up on stories regularly, and build that know, like, and trust factor that I knew was so important. And I remember doing it. My girls, I just remember like recording with them around, and they were tiny. They're just babies making all sorts of noise in the background, but I was still sharing value on stories. And I remember seeing old colleagues watching and feeling that like slightly uncomfortable feeling, that fear of judgment. And I worked through it. I didn't have the language to explain then what I was doing, but it's about choosing your dream over your limiting belief. And you just, like, what I've done is I've just been okay with getting uncomfortable and doing the things that are a little bit nerve-wracking and getting outside of my comfort zone time and time and time again. So now, like, I can go live and just talk without any notes, or I can chuck out an unedited podcast episode where I end up going down all sorts of rabbit holes and saying things that, like, I'm not really like overly happy that I've just said, but it's okay. Like, I've got that commitment to doing an unedited episode, and I'm just happy to share me completely as I am, because I know that it's refreshing and I know that it's inspiring to so many people out there. So yeah, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you want to get the business to the place that you see in your mind's eye, it's gonna take getting uncomfortable. And listen to stuff that I've shared on the podcast before about how your brain just wants to keep you safe and all the things. Like, if you've not listened, back when I was teaching just about getting out of survival mode and like non-business owner stuff, go right back to the beginning. You'll see like sort of baby Jenna podcast editions, but like teaching how the brain works and like this idea of the stress bucket. And yeah, all of that is really key to knowing how your brain works, and it's just so empowering when you understand all of that stuff. So yeah. Number 4, trust your intuition. And it's just, honestly, like, I cannot explain how liberating it is when you just trust yourself and trust your intuition. Like, I know I share this all the time, but it's literally the number one strategy that I have in my business. I don't do anything with push energy, so I just have this commitment to putting myself first, hearing my intuition, following it every single step of the way. And there's been some really like bold things that I've done because my intuition has led me there, i.e. shutting down my Change Your Life program, a really successful group program that I had, but my intuition was telling me that my soul's purpose was to help business owners. And actually, like, I completely forgot this, but when that memory came up on my stories this morning, which inspired this episode today, like, if you look at the tagline, it's helping entrepreneurs build the business of their dreams. Like, the messaging was shit. You go back and look at it, like, it just, yeah, like, I clearly had a lot of work to do, and I've done that work, but we've gone full circle. And everything that I've done has been for a reason. Like, I look back and I see all the lessons, and I've gone down little avenues and like come back out. Like, I was starting a book. I put tons of hours into writing a book early days, and that's stuck in my Google Drive somewhere. But I do feel that there's a book in me somewhere, but it didn't happen then. And so I guess what I'm summing up here is, forgive yourself for any perceived mistakes, like quote unquote mistakes, because I believe that there aren't mistakes. Like, it's your perception that matters. Like, literally, be aware that everything that you are thinking is your perception, and your perception matters. And the story that you're choosing to tell yourself with your thoughts is just one story, and it could be a million other different stories. And so when you decide that you've made a mistake, know that you've made a choice to call it a mistake, when actually a more empowered way to look at it is it's a divinely timed mistake, because there's a lesson in there. Literally everything in your life is happening for you to grow from and to learn from. And it won't necessarily make sense in the moment, but it will do. When you get a little bit further forward, it will make sense. So in order to get the business that you see in your mind's eye out and into your reality, so that that is the life that you are living, you want to have an empowered mindset. Do everything that you can to foster this empowered mindset, so that you realize everything is happening for you, and you're looking for the lessons, and you're celebrating and being grateful for the lessons, because it's leading you to the life of your dreams. Okay. And when you have this commitment to getting in alignment, basically when you're in alignment, you can create the life of your dreams, because when there's alignment, it will just flow in. And so stuff can get very, very messy when you realize, when you've got this version of your life that you want to create, stuff can get messy between here and there. Like real lessons that you have to grow through and hard things will come up for you so that you can learn those lessons, grow, and get into alignment to create what one of my clients, we've recorded an episode together. It's coming out in a few weeks, but she used the phrase highest timeline. And highest timeline, she's taught me that your highest timeline is like the best version of your life, like in your mind's eye, the happiest you could see yourself being. In order to get there, it's about being in alignment. So doing the personal inner work, the personal development, the inner work, to grow as a person, to let go of the things that you need to let go of, like the people pleasing and the perfectionism and all of those things, so that you can be in alignment, so you can get to live at your highest timeline. And when you are, life literally feels amazing. So yeah, look for the lessons. Don't ever think, oh, why is this happening to me? No, it's happening for you. And actually, this leads me on to my next one, and that is life. The things that you're experiencing, the people in your world, the situations that are cropping up for you, they're a projection of your inner world. All right. So watch and learn about yourself. If you're attracting shitty experiences, what's the universal lesson? What's the universe trying to get you to learn? Because when we get faced with a situation and we don't learn the lessons get bigger. Okay, so and using health as an example here, if your body is giving you, I don't know, like headaches, for example, as a sign to slow down and you're ignoring them, that's going to manifest into something bigger. Your body will literally scream at you. Not literally, your body will scream at you in terms of dis-ease and things that like really go wrong for you with your health if you do not listen and pay attention to the more subtle signs. All right, so that's a really, really important message that I'm sharing there. Just stop a second and just check in with your own physical and also mental health. What do you need to do that you've not done yet? What do you need to do more of? What do you need to do less of? And take care of yourself, because health is wealth. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So really, really, that turned a corner. But like, it's really important, isn't it? Like, people take for granted their health and they just put everybody else first and they put themselves to the bottom of the pile. They literally run on empty, and that is not okay. All right, you've got to love yourself more and respect yourself more to put yourself first, or at least further up the pile. And then you're working on yourself so you can ultimately put yourself first, and you can have really good physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual health, and life can get amazing. But stop ignoring those signs. Okay. When you have those hard experiences going on for you, it's just the universe trying to teach you, trying to help you to have a lesson. And 99, I didn't really ponder on this and think about it too much, but 99, if not 100% of the time, I think it's the universe nudging you to get closer to being in alignment. Like, the universe is always supporting you, wants you to live at your highest timeline, wants you to live your soul's purpose, live your best life. So those lessons are there for you to learn. So pay attention. What are those lessons? And if you don't pay attention, then you can live a whole lifetime and not learn the lesson and be unfulfilled, unhappy, ill. I just don't even want to go there, but you get the message, right? Next one. I don't even, I've lost count, but I think it's probably the last one. And it's really, really key. And most people don't do enough of this, but it's really important. And I'm going to share with you why it's really important first. Will that make sense, actually? Okay, yeah. So, classic Jenna bingo, where your focus goes, energy flows. Okay, what that means is where you are choosing to put your attention, you're choosing that. And the universe always says yes, right? So if in your business, you're focusing on all of the things that aren't going well, or what's not happened yet, or, just low vibe type, negative, disempowered mindset, if you're comparing yourself constantly and like really in struggle and hustle mode, like no shame at all. Like, I get it. it's really hard. I work with clients in that position and I get them out of that so that it's so much better. And like, I get them to the place where I am, or depending on how long they work with me, but it's possible to get your business and your life feeling like the way I live my life if you work with me long enough. And you or it depends, actually it depends on your starting point, but I haven't got time to go into it. But what was I saying? Yeah, you get more of what you are, not what you want. So the universe doesn't say no. If you're placing all of your attention or the majority of your attention on the things that you've not manifested yet, or the things that aren't happening yet, or the problems that are coming up, or, if you're just focusing your attention on lack and problems, you're going to get more of that, because the universe doesn't say no. It just says, yes, have more of that, because you get more of what you are, not what you want. And there isn't any, you can't say, I don't want this, because by doing that, you're focusing your attention on it. And the universe is like, oh, that's what you're focusing your attention on. They'll give you more of that. Again, I'll say it. You get more of what you are, not what you want. So think about, again, if you can, like if you're driving, obviously don't do this, but if you can, close your eyes. I always put my hand on my heart because it helps me to center and ground. And take a breath. And check in with that version of the business that you would like to have in your mind's eye. Just go there and experience that. Imagine. Your brain literally can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, right? So if you imagine this now, you will release some feel-good chemicals. The more you if you really get into this and really hear the sounds, feel the feelings, be there in your mind's eye, you'll end up feeling amazing. So I'm asking you, picture your dream business and picture your dream life, and as if that is happening right now. How are you feeling? What's the emotion there? How does it feel? When that is your version of reality, when that is your reality, what's life going to be like? Are you going to feel so free and so joyful? Right. I'm sure it probably is something along those lines. For me, it's freedom and joy. And yeah, that literally is my life now. So you got to focus on the areas of your life where you're already experiencing those things. If you want to feel free and joyful, if you know that you're going to feel free and joyful when you've created that business of your dreams, then you have to start feeling grateful for the things that you've got in your life and the experiences that you're having already that make you feel free and joyful. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. Your mindset and your personal development comes first. When you create these inner shifts, your outer reality will shift. You will manifest that, obviously put in all the things that I've said in this episode, put them into play, watch the magic unfold. It's incredible. And so one thing that you can do is to start celebrating your wins more. And I know that comes with a caveat, because a lot of the time my clients get to me and they're like, can't celebrate my wins. I know I should. And there's a difference between knowing what you should do and actually being able to do that and being able to feel that celebration about yourself. That comes from inner work. If you've got if you've got a lot of shit in the subconscious basically to work through, then you're not going to be able to celebrate your wins. You're always going to be striving. A lot of my clients, they're striving, you achieve one thing and maybe you feel an air of celebration for a millisecond, and then you're right, next thing. You're on trauma drive by the sounds of it. Obviously everybody's different, but you're validating yourself based on the success. And so the success is never enough. The present moment is never enough. It's always next thing, more. You want to cultivate that inner happiness right here in the present moment. Be so happy with what you've got here and now, celebrating all the good, that becomes what you are. And then you get more of that. Okay. My anchor has just gone red because it's 29 minutes and 23 seconds. So I have got to the end. And yeah, just to sum up then, I'm so incredibly blessed to have this platform and to speak to you guys via the podcast, via Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you are. I'm all over the place these days, and it just feels good. I have the support in my business. That's another one, by the way. Get support. I haven't got time to go into it, but get support begets more success. So maybe, thank you so much for joining me. I think I need to tag on a little. Oh, I didn't wrap it up in time because I had something else come through right at the end. And I didn't really explain it enough. So here we go. Just finally, last point. What was I actually saying that led me to say that? I said, like, I'm so happy to just show up. I was saying basically expressing my gratitude to you for being in my world, whether that's like, whether you purely just follow me on the podcast, or whether you're over on Instagram in my world, or if you're on LinkedIn or TikTok or Facebook, wherever you are. Like, I'm so grateful for you. And what was coming up in my mind as I was saying that is business owners will be listening to me and thinking, what? The rulebook says just focus on one platform or 2 platforms at max. Yes, that's true, but I don't follow the rule book, and I've got to a place in my business where I just do things that feel good, and I have so much support in my business. I have 2 incredible VAs, shout out to Emily and Matilda, who just support me so much, so that I can just feel so free and joyful in my business and allow this just intuitive content to just pour through me. And so we make it work. Like, as a team, we make it work. There's like, I don't bullshit you guys. There is 0 push energy in my business whatsoever. So I wouldn't be on all these platforms if it didn't feel good. But having said that, I do not recommend it if you're not at the place where I am with all the support, and don't do it. It's a good idea to focus on 1 or 2 platforms. Don't start spreading yourself too thinly. So yes, just caveat there. I wanted to add that in. Right, I'm going to put a plea out there, please, or a request. If you enjoy listening to my podcasts, I would so appreciate it if you could either write me a little review on Apple. That will help push me up the list when people search for me. Or it would be great if you enjoyed this episode, if you could share it on your stories and tag me. That would be amazing. I just appreciate, I put so much time, energy, effort, put my heart into these episodes. So it would be amazing if you could share me a little bit. No worries if not, though. It's okay. What other thing was I going to say? I'm just waffling now, aren't I? Bear with. No, nothing else to come through. I'm going to send this. I'm going to go down to Costa and work there for a bit. Have a really nice day. Make sure that you put yourself first at some point today. And if you're already putting yourself first, if you are out on a walk, listening to me, listening to this podcast right now, then well done you. Celebrating you. See you later. I'm going to end it. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Bigger Than You podcast with your host, Jenna Holloway. If this episode has been valuable to you, please share it with a friend or leave a review.